Good evening, viewers. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matthias Aufiku, news editor of the Namibian Sun newspaper. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Evening Review Show. But before we get into tonight's business, let's first have a look at today's headlines. We're joined in studio tonight by Mr. Petersen Kambinda, a former vice chairman of the Mineworkers Union of Namibia. Welcome, sir.
Welcome, Haufiku, and welcome to the viewers.
It's indeed a pleasure to have you here. Mr. Kambinda, you of course have been operating in the mining sector, advocating for the rights of workers in that sector. How is the situation now? What are you hearing from your colleagues on the ground, especially now with the pandemic?
Thank you for the question, Haufiku. I think since we got retrenched in last year, we signed an agreement between ourselves and the mine, whereby that we committed that in that agreement that there is going to be continuous updates between the workers, employees, which are ourselves, and the mine management. And this engagement had been ongoing from the time which we have been retrenched. This engagement had still ongoing up to date. And we have been updated of what is happening after we have left, because for the purpose of this is that to see how we can be able to shorten, to combine our effort on how we can be able to shorten the process of the care and maintenance. And we've been hearing to come to the question that from the time which we have left, because the mine, what made it for us to be able to close was the technical report which came out that the mine we could not be able to operate it to safety. But then the colleagues which we have left behind have really worked behind the clock to read that these issues which was there had been rectified, whereby that the investor now is willing to commit back to invest into this operation of this mine for us to be able to go ahead. But the only stumbling block which we are currently having is the agreement between Nampa and Skorpion. Once this agreement had been made, then we can be able, the mine could be able to reopen again. The business could be able to make a decision for us to be able to go back to work.
Okay. Yeah, we know generally retrenchments are not easy processes, especially for those who are affected. What are your colleagues, some of those that you were retrenched with, what are they saying? How are they surviving? How are they coping, even amidst COVID?
Yeah, the challenge we are currently having now is that the time when we have been retrenched. It is during the pandemic.
Yeah.
The pandemic is really, there is not a lot of opportunities which are coming out there. Since there is no lot of opportunities coming out, majority of the people, they are still in the street. Each and every day I am receiving calls and inquiries of people because they know about this agreement which we have signed. And these people, they are still in the street. Majority of these, the employees which were retrenched at Skorpion, they are still in the street. And for that reason, these people, they are finding it very difficult. For this year alone, I took last year I took a tour to come back to come to Roshpina to see how the people which we left there, those are which are unemployed, are living. And this year I went to the whole regions. I
Yeah.
came across and I meet the four employees. They are really struggling. The past few weeks also I have taken a tour whereby I went even up to Commerce, which is the central, to look at the people how they are living, and they are really struggling. Majority of them are still currently, as we speak, they are still in the streets and they are really suffering because there is very few opportunities. And as we know also that Skorpion, it is one of the unique mines in the country, whereby that these people which had been working at Skorpion, some of them, the experiences which they acquired at Skorpion, you cannot go to find it at any other mine in Namibia. So that is
Yeah.
what make it even the issue a very serious challenge.
Yeah, if you say that there has been a solution found in terms of agreement, but then there's the electricity issue, what is the way forward then? I mean, what are your colleagues, your former colleagues at at MUN, what are they doing to ensure that the process is fastened?
Yeah, the Mine Workers Union of Namibia, the Mine Union of Namibia had been from the time which we had been retrenched. The engagements we have been doing is that it is with the leadership of the Mine Workers Union of Namibia. They have been accompanying us to see to it that we find both the acting president and the current Mine Workers Union of Namibia regional chairperson. They were also part of those meetings to see to it that the mine it's able to reopen. The only stumbling block here, really, if we have just to call a spade, the problem here it is just only with NAMPower. NAMPower is just only the stumbling block as we speak now, because they are the to the breathing of the life back into Skorpion.
Yeah. How are they the stumbling block? Can you maybe just just delve a bit deeper into that? How are they a stumbling block?
I did not get to that question.
You said that non-power is the stumbling block in this entire process. So I asked, how are they a stumbling block? Can you maybe just explain?
Yeah, the stumbling block, why we are calling that NAMPower is the current stumbling block is that because initially at the beginning, we used to be getting our electricity from ESCOM. And after the agreement which have expired this year in January, the discussion changed that NAMPower is going to be able to give us power. But now, as we speak now, the negotiation between NAMPower and Skorpion have started since 2019 September, if my memory serves me correct. And from that time up to where we are now, we will be able to be talking almost about 2 years. If we reach again this year, September, it's going to be 2 years. And it is for that because the investor cannot be able to make a decision without them not having the tariff price of the power. Because the power,
Yeah.
as we know that Skorpion it consumes a very serious number of electricity. So one cannot be able to blindly make a decision that we are going to be able to reopen the mine when we don't have the tariff price. And NamPower up to now is just them which are delaying, because either they have just to be able to come out openly and then tell the investor that this is the price, and then the investor have to make a decision now that
Yeah.
tariff which they have been given, is it sustainable or is it not sustainable, without them not pronouncing themselves and delaying. At the end of the day, this delay is not only it's affecting the business. We are not calling on
Yeah.
NamPower for them to be able that not to be making money, but what we want is that NamPower for them to pronounce themselves and give a tariff to Skorpion, and then Skorpion to make a decision. Either that tariff which they have been given, they can be able to make business, or they can't make business, and then from there decision have to be able to be made. Yeah.
Are you aware perhaps of any talks? Do you know if the union perhaps had approached NamPower to find out what the delay is?
The discussion so far, what we did from the union side is that we went and meet even the Minister of Mines, whereby that because initially at the beginning we even proposed first we proposed this, our proposal as a union, we proposed it to the Prime Minister, Honorable Sarah Kuongela. We proposed to her that this discussion must only not, since we are a stakeholder, this discussion supposed not only to be left in the hands of this investor and them just discussing there, but rather us being a stakeholder, we proposed that we were supposed also to be part of this discussion, because at the end of the day, what we are looking for is that the investor to make money, the Namibian to be able to get to be able to get jobs, and also NamPower for them to be in business. That is why we proposed that we needed to be part of that discussion. But then they left us out. We have not been invited to any of these negotiations where they are discussing this, but the proposal, we have put it even to the level of the Prime Minister that we were supposed to be part of these discussions.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that update on the situation. Maybe just to move on to another topic, I also understand that you are in the process of registering a new trade union. Can you just run us through that a bit?
Yeah, no, thank you. From the time when we got retrenched, the colleagues from the transport sector, more specifically the truck drivers, they approached me that they needed to be able to somebody who can be able to assist them to register a trade union, which can be able to speak for their issues. As we know that truck drivers, they are being treated as like foreigners in their own country, whereby that the government even if we have to start from the government, truck drivers put their lives on the line during COVID, and still they are continuing to put their lives on the line during COVID. And employers, they treat truck drivers because when you just talk without them having a one voice, they get fired left, right, and center, and all of that. So then they approached me that no, if we can be able to assist them the process of registering a trade union, which can be able to try to stand there and assist the truck drivers. Yeah, so then that application was made, and it was done last year on the 2nd of December, and the Labour Commissioner confirmed the application that was received on the 9th of December. So that is the process which we have started with the transport sector.
Yeah. Well, if that application was lodged in December, we are in June now. How far is the process with regards to finalizing the registration?
After the application had been made, we have been going back and forth with the Office of the Labour Commissioner. And the challenge which we are currently having is that after the application, there is really no reasonable ground from our side to understand that why the application have to be able to be taking so long. When the application, the Labor Act is clear. When you look at Section 57 and Section 53 of the Act, that what need to be able to be done, and a constitution was drafted and it had been submitted, and we believe that the Office of the Labor Commissioner is supposed to be able to have a checklist to see to it that that constitution do really meet the requirement which they have set up in the Labor Act. And it's unfortunate that up to today, whenever you make an inquiry with the Office of the Labor Commissioner, you are being given different reasons of why the application is not being approved, and so forth and so forth. So up to date, you cannot even be able to tell of when really can these people be able to give up an approval to this application.
There's already a number of trade unions operating in the country. I mean, with the emergence of more unions like the one you are currently pursuing, how do you see this impacting the labor sector?
You see, from my understanding, unions supposed to be performance based. There's a lot of unions in the country which are registered currently as we speak. But if you have to be able to go to that office of the Labor Commissioner or the minister, whoever is responsible, there is a lot of unions which, even if you stand up today, which can be easily be able to be deregistered, because they are really not confining both to their own constitutions and then both to the Labor Act, which they have put them into existence. So unions, they are there, but there is very few unions which are really performing to the interest of its members. So when you find, then sometimes they can be a union, or they can be an organization which is really want to be able to try to assist people, but then you find that due to this bureaucracy which are there, then they are not being given that chance for them to be able to try to assist the people.
Yeah, but would you say that in today's the status of our labor sector, would you say that unions are still relevant?
Yes, unions are very much relevant. There is a few unions which I cannot just be able to mention the names, but there is very few unions which are really there trying to protect and advance the interest of its members, and they are really doing for its members their utmost best. But there is also really very useless unions out there. If we have just to be able to say the truth, there is very serious useless unions out there, which are they have turned the unions into their own like organization. Unions have been turned to be just like their own companies, and this is really a very sad day into the country. That, but one part also which I could be able to say also is that we are having very good laws in the country, whereby that the people which are monitoring these unions, which supposed to be able to perform for the interest of their members, those organizations have also just been rendered that they are not taking their jobs serious to see to it that these unions, when they register, they commit. In fact, it's like they commit that these are the things which we are to be able to do for our people. But after they have committed, made those commitments, then they are the same again organization which turns and turn it into its own like personal organizations. And this is very sad. It's supposed not to be that way, and it's supposed not to be allowed to be like that. It's only in it's only when we are not supervising, taking our supervision roles also serious. That is what have led us to be where we are now today.
Yeah. You mentioned bureaucracy earlier on regarding the registration process. What would you say are some of the areas that we can look into as a country to ensure that applications, the turnover time is much, much quicker. Because now the workers are the ones suffering while the administration work is lagging behind.
Yeah, look, if you have to look at one thing which I can be able to make to mention is that what I have come across now since I have come into the process of assisting the truck driver. One of the things which I have seen now that which is a very, very grave concern to myself is that we have a Labor Act, and section 120 of the Labor Act, subsection 3. I think it is clear in here where it states that the Labor Commissioner, in his absence, the Deputy Labor Commissioner must, they have used a word, a very strong word, which is a must, that must be able to assume the duties of the Labor Commissioner. But in this case, irrespective of the current situation, we are informed that the Labor Commissioner have not been in the office for almost 3 to 4 months. He have not been in the office. Be the reason as it may be. But then there is a person who is a Deputy Labor Commissioner and who is also acting as a Deputy Labor Commissioner. But then you find that decisions are not being made simply because someone is not in the office. This is a very sad state, whereby that, and this is the office which we are looking at to say that an office which is supposed to be able to make sure that compliances are being made, but now it's the same office again, whereby that a compliance of such nature is not being carried out. That somebody is not in the office, but then the reliance is that the person, they are not being they are unable to be able to be making a decision simply because the person is not in the office. This is very sad.
Yeah.
It's supposed not to be that way.
Okay. Mr. Kambinda, thank you very much for coming through today. It was indeed a pleasure having you here.
Yes, no, thank you very much. I also appreciate that we also got an invitation to this progressive program to share our little whatever we know onto this one. Thank you to yourself, and thank you to the thanks to the viewers.
Thank you.